I know. It gets really confusing sometimes because in front of us there are so many options to choose from, and because of that, it drives you nuts and crazy. One of the tasks for passive income investor is to make sure you select one of the greatest provider of these ETFs, and one of the best provider is Hamilton ETF. However, Hamilton always unveil new ETFs, and because of that, you have so many options in front of you, and you are maybe you might not know what to do because what ETF to invest in because of those choices you have. And a lot of people, what I've seen is they pick a lot of ETFs and have a bunch of them in your portfolio, which is very hard to manage. So because you're facing this conundrum of too many choices in front of you and you don't know where to put your money and which ETF to pick and select to build your portfolio as a passive income investor, on this channel, I decided to make it easier for you so you can know exactly where to invest your money so you can be intentional and focused on only generating passive income. So if it's the first time, just make sure you subscribe. And if you like my content, just make sure you like. So today I'm putting together an ETF that will kill the noises. And this is actually HD for Canadian investors who wants to focus on Canadian market. Think about this. If you look at the Hamilton website, you have HMAX, you have Canadian Utility UMAX, which came out recently, and I made a video on that. I'm going to put link below. And you have this enhanced utility, you have Canadian Bank, you have HFIN, you have all these. You have more on the Hamilton. But because of these, so I'm going to tell you, instead of having all of those, you can just have HDIV. And the reason why you should leave everything else and just focus on HDIV, which right now yield about 10.42, and that yield varies because based on the price of this HDIV. And the reason I'm going to tell you why you should just focus on this one, and there's one more I'm going to show you that it will complement your portfolio. And this is not based on my opinion, it's based on the performance back tested that was Hamilton managed themselves. And also I did my own back testing, which is perfect. And we look at this one. So Hamilton, I've gone deeper on the Hamilton enhanced multi-sector covered call ETFs, which I covered. I'll leave link below. And this just if it's your first time to watch this, on a brief, this is a portfolio primary sector a sector covered call ETF with a sector mix broadly similar to the S&P 500 TSX 60. So this is only focused on Canadian market, which is multi-sector, all the sectors of the market, and does modest cash leverage of 25%. Uses leverage, on top of your thing. And so let's look down here. The ticker symbol, right? It's HDIV. 10% yield right now, and we look monthly distribution. There's a history of monthly distribution. Performance, if we look at performance, is compared to TSX 60, which is the Canadian market. Actually, HDIV has outperformed. If you had to invest your money from July 2021 to today, you'd have about 12K versus 11K on TSX 60. So this HDIV has outperformed Canadian market, if you can see here. And the yield, of course, is higher than the Canadian market, because if you invest in TSX, you're only going to get 3.59 versus 10.42. We look at the sector. You have financial, you have utility, you have healthcare, you have technology, you have gold, you have energy. So the reason why I say you can just focus on this one, for example, we have HMAX, which is financial. You already have 30% of that. You have utility, which is this guy here, UMAX. You already have 13% of UMAX in there. And we look at the healthcare, you have 13, technology 13. We have gold, and we have energy. So now, of course, this energy also, it's part of utility kind of. So we look at the holdings of that. Why you should just leave your HMAX and UMAX and just focus on that, because you already have HMAX inside this ETF. You already have UMAX inside of this ETF, though it's only 7% of the overall portfolio. But then look at this one. You also have enhanced utility. So this utility, and you have BMO covered call utility. So there's a utility here. There's utility. There's utility here. Overall, it's more than 13% of utility. So that covers UMAX, and when it comes to financial, it's more than 30% because you have HMAX, and you have other one. For example, HFIN is also financial. So that's why instead of you focusing on too many of those ETF, you can have all these in your portfolio, especially for people with a smaller portfolio, don't have as much money to invest their money in. You can just buy, for example, if you have only $5,000, instead of you spread out $1,000 on each, buy 5-6 ETF, you can just focus on that one, because the performance of having all of this together, performance and the yield, would actually more equate to the same amount you'd get here, about 10%. We look at inception date. This was July 19, 2021. We look at current asset. It's about 3.49. So $3.499 million. Annual yield is right now is at 10.42. As I said, this one changes based on the performance of the ETF itself. Distribution is monthly, and you only pay 65 management fee. So on complement for this one, so this is only Canadian focus. Now you want to go on a broad US market, then you add that one with, instead of having any other one, you just have a Hamilton Enhanced US Covered Call ETF, which is HYLD. So you can have combination of 50 Hamilton Enhanced US Covered Call ETF, which is HYLD, and you can have 50% of HDIV, and that will complement 10.42 plus 11.49. If you combine those together, will give you about 11% yield. So that's a pretty good, and performance of that, we going to Hamilton charts they put here. These are the individually put together performance. If you look at Hamilton HDIV itself, as compared to Canadian market, as I've shown you earlier, has outperformed Canadian market, by quite a good margin there. But when you look at HDIV, actually, when you look at HYLD versus S&P 500, which they actually did with Vanguard S&P 500. This is Canadian VSP hedged S&P 500 ETF. When you look at that ETF combined now, and if you compare that to the HYLD lagged behind S&P 500 by a little bit of margin, not too much, but it including dividends. So now they put chart of 50-50 portfolio of HYLD and HYLD and HDIV together. So you have Canadian market 50 and you have US market 50%. And the performance of that, look at the performance of that. So you would 50 HYLD, 50 HYLD. Its performance is pretty much as if you combine S&P 500 ETF versus plus a 50% Canadian market. So it's a pretty par to the actual index itself. So it's a pretty solid. And what you get from this one also, the volatility lowers your volatility and also gives you about 11% yield, which is what you literally would get if you combine HMAX and if you do UMAX. You're gonna get more yield, but you are more concentrated on only two sectors, versus this one is multi-sector in Canada. But also, if you have HYLD and HDIV together, you not only you going to have Canadian market, but also US market. And that's the only easiest way to invest your money. But you can also tweak. Instead of having 50-50, you can tweak. And let's say, for example, you can have 50-30, depends on your preference. Do you like Canadian market more? Then you can just have maybe 60% HDIV, and you can have 30%, 40% HYLD, or vice versa. Depends on your preference. But that's the easiest way to construct your portfolio: 50-50 HYLD, and kill all the noises It's a pretty much the same as you go to a Walmart, you buy deodorant, you see there are so many options and you don't know which one it is. But if you look deep down, there's only one that will be suitable for you to pick. I'm showing you here. There it is, because there's someone else asking question, and I thought maybe it's a good time for me to make this video to make your portfolio as simple as possible, so you can focus and you can be intentional in generating that passive income. So thank you very much for watching. Is your first time, just make sure you subscribe, because on this channel, if you have any question about investing, anything like that, just make sure you leave your comment below. I'm going to respond, and I'm going to make a video if there's enough requests on that topic. Bye bye.